Hello, Aquarius. This is Lisa with Heart of Inspiration. And here at this channel, we help you lead a whole and healed, peaceful, and prosperous life. And today, Aquarius, I am here finally for your December 2020 general reading. This reading again is for December 2020 sun, moon, and rising. December is going to be quite the eventful month now, isn't it, for you guys? We're going to have Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in your sign. Some say that's heralding the age of Aquarius entering. I say it's signaling a beginning of something, yes. I think it's signaling a beginning, a quickening of this age of Aquarius finally coming upon us. But definitely we'll begin to see this as a rapid change as we go forward through the month. So we are going to go and get into the tarot now. All right. And here we are. All righty. So we're going to be using, as usual, at least two. We try to do some oracle along with everything else. So let me just move this microphone out of the way. On this side, we're going to have our Sacred Destiny Oracle. Let me just take these out of the box by Denise Lynn. So we're going to get them out of the box here and set that box over there. And then we are also going to utilize the Work Your Light Oracle deck from Rebecca Campbell. You just take these out fresh for your reading here. We'll set this here and set this over here as well. And then for some further clarifications, I am using the Thelema Tarot deck as well. So let's get your first card from Sacred Destiny. I get one card for Aquarius Sun, Moon, and Rising for December of 2020. December the 20th. December of 2020, please. One card, please, for Sun, Moon, and Rising Aquarius. Gateway. That's rather appropriate, don't you think? Gateway. And then let's choose one card from the Work Your Light, please. One card for Sun, Moon, and Rising Aquarius, December 2020. One card, please, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Oh, Unbound. Releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Now, isn't this interesting? When I looked at it at first, it almost looked like a bunch of horses. But this is, the spirits being, the spirit body being released. So as we look at this gateway and then unbound, it looks to me as if you're going to be literally going through, right, this portal in December of 2020. That is an interesting portal of the expansiveness or the expansion or the release of the collective consciousness into a broader, more, I will say, technologically advanced stage. Even beyond where we're at right now, right, with the internet and with social media and just information just being released at every turn. Information we were not privy to before, information that was being withheld from us. But I look also at this collective consciousness as we're moving out of the universal love consciousness. And what I mean by that is not that we're not going to love one another, right? Because we're raising our vibration, the vibrational set point of humanity, from kind of a lower love vibration to a higher or high heart chakra vibration, and in totality, as we're moving into this age of Aquarius, a closer relationship with Supreme Source, a deeper understanding of what that relationship truly means on an individual basis, as the individual then gains the freedom to become fully a part of a collective consciousness. So when I say universal love, I mean like kind of moving out of a Christ consciousness where, Neptune represents a universal love for all, very, dreamy, very inspirational, very, oh gosh, how do I want to say, rather compassionate as well. Kind of vibrational frequency. But the darker or the flip side of Neptune is delusion. It is sometimes not taking responsibility fully for oneself. It can be a sense of almost losing oneself inside of a collective consciousness. It's not, because it's a mutable sign, a mutable water sign. Identity can flow. Now that can be a good thing in a Piscean sense, because a Piscean and any water sign, but Pisceans especially, can really kind of just go with the flow and just kind of be who they need to be in the light, or in the situation that they're in, whatever that situation calls for. But sometimes that can also make it difficult to come to a true understanding of oneself as well. You kind of get lost in this, I have to love everybody. I want everybody to just, let's all just have a great time. The really kumbaya, not necessarily the Sagittarian type great time, but let's just kind of kumbaya. And the expansiveness of it, of this kind of large scale love, one love, everyone consciousness, and what is really a global, a quote unquote Christ or Messianic consciousness, is that this one universal love has been gifted from the gods. Yes. And so for the expansion of all, for the betterment of all, and not as much individual responsibility or accountability can be taken from that. The Aquarius energy is very much where do you fit into the collective consciousness? How do you as the individual then bring forward ideas, intellect, and when I say technology or technological advances, I mean the technology of energy, the technology of spirit, because there is a technology and an energy, there is a science to spirit. And I see Aquarians being that right? Aquarius is very revolutionary. Uranus rules your sign. And then prior to that, it was Saturn. So it can be very revolutionary. And it is. It's revolutionary change. But within every revolution, there's typically one or more individuals. The individuals have this need for freedom, or they understand that there are wrongs that are being done, and that it is not beneficial, whatever type of thought, think, right, collective, or with the governmental or whatever structural, whatever that looks like. Could be religion, could be government, could be just constraints on you as an individual within your own world. But the individual seeks radical change through the use of innovation. And this can be an innovation. Again, I look at this, I mean, we already have the advent of the internet, right? And I'm sure that there's more, to come. But I look at this as we're entering into this age of this AI, artificial intelligence, being so far advanced that, I've said this before over the last few years, that it's going to be very necessary for us to be in tune spiritually to be able to tell the difference between AI and humanity. It's going to be very important for us to maintain our soul construct, in other words, our spiritual construct, and understanding who we are as we're moving forward in the manipulation or the utilization of energy. Manipulation probably isn't the right word, but when I'm saying manipulation, I mean more in an alchemaic sense, and advancing that. I see the advance in spiritual technology, if you will, and spiritual revolution as the individual taking responsibility for one's higher thought and seeing and understanding how you as an individual fit into the collective consciousness, what role you play in advancing the collective. What role do you play, right? What do you do? And you coming into that individual, that's very air sign, that individual realization and that individual understanding, and then applying it to the collective in a revolutionary way, maintaining your freedom, not being dependent upon having a salvation or a savior, right? Not being dependent on that, but taking that understanding or taking that knowledge and the reunification of yourself with source, with spirit, with creator, and then applying it on your own basis for the good of all. So this is the gateway or the portal that we're opening up, that you're opening up in December, and coming into this recognition and this realization and becoming this unbound, releasing old patterns or soul patterns. They're old, right? So releasing the third dimensional patterns that have been governing your existence from before till right now. So you're hearing my voice. Releasing those patterns because we don't need to do that. Releasing the contracts. In other words, have you fulfilled a good chunk of the soul contract? Have you done the work as far as doing the shadow work and releasing the karma and integrating that then? I mean, you're always going to have some to release, especially when you have when you are an awakened one and an enlightened soul. That karma does hold us here to the earth, but we don't have to be bound in it. In other words, karma is here to remind us of humanity, of our humanity, and so we can continue to feel compassion for, but not get entangled in to somebody else's ish. So can you then, do you understand that you satisfied a lot of the contracts that you had as a child? So you came here and you said, I'm going to incarnate and I'm going to go through these things and we're going to, live this life. And now you're an adult. So as the adult, it's time to go back and realize that you have satisfied the foundational knowledge and structure as far as what you needed to learn to be able to then apply it within your purpose to humanity and to the raising of the vibration of the collective consciousness, rather than simply only raising your own. But as you raise your own vibrational step point, you then also contribute to the raising of others. So there's certain soul contracts that we had to satisfy. And I think for some of you Aquarians, Sun, Moon, and Rising, there are certain soul contracts that you thought you had, but you don't really have. And whatever soul ties, soul contracts you've made with other people, it's time to, if that person's out of your life and you've realized that time, that season is over, it's time to cut it. It's time to stamp it paid in full, fully satisfied. You've met all the parameters of that contract, satisfied all of it, and let's move forward. And also then past lives. So sometimes we can carry all of this stuff forward, and again, we were supposed to kind of clear some of this stuff up or satisfy it or do what we were supposed to do. Maybe some of you, it's releasing, it's finally you're the one to break a generational curse because you have the authority to do it in this lifetime. What was done in past, ancestrally a long time ago. Maybe you were living and you've been like really tied to these past lives and you haven't been able to release those memories and release those energies, and we need to work on not just only releasing them, but really understanding them and then integrating them into our foundation, right? So figure out how they apply and then integrate it into the foundation. Again, this is so that you can step fully in an unbound manner through this freedom gateway. Because if you are still bound by all of these things, you're not going to be this unicorn. You're not going to be this wild stallion. You're not going to be this free floating being that's able to move fully through that gateway and live in full your purpose. Okay? Because you're still going to have all these ties that bind you to something in the past. And we're not, December, although it's not the end of the zodiacal 2020, the astrological year, it is the end of the fiscal or the calendar, the Julian calendar year, or Gregorian, whichever one we're in. It is the end of the 3D year, not the 5D year, or the astrological year. But it is very significant because it starts the winter season. The winter solstice is in December. We cannot go into hibernation with chains on, Aquarius. You know, winter, December, January, February, and March comes spring. What did Lauryn Hill say? After winter must come spring. Everything is everything. So winter is a necessity. It's a necessity to hibernate. It's a necessity to rebuild. It's a necessity to rejuvenate. But you cannot rejuvenate you and be prepared for your rebirth if you don't let the old things die. There cannot be a rebirth without a death of something. You cannot bring more light in. You cannot bring more love in. You cannot bring more creative energy in and release more creative energy into your being unless you get rid of the toxic energy and transmute it so that it becomes part of a foundation. It becomes the fertilization, right? It becomes fertilizer for your hopes and your dreams. It becomes fertilizer for your manifestation rather than a block and a weed and a killer, right? A choker of your manifestation capabilities and your spiritual gifts, and chokes the life out of your purpose because it's choking the life out of you. So it's time to take your rightful place and go through this gateway here in December. And go through it in a very free manner. So let's pull some tarot for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We have the Knight of Pentacles. This energy coming towards you. We'll see what that's about. We have the Three of Pentacles. This is very grounded energy. That's very interesting. It's like we got to do some work on that foundation. Whoa. The Strength card is in the position of what could potentially be difficult energy that needs to be kind of overcome or worked through. Six of Cups. How that's going to, what's going to help you overcome, and outcome or advice. The Hanged Man. Interesting. All right. Knight of Pentacles. That's energy coming. Oh, thank you. Energy coming towards you. And then here we have the Death card. Scorpionic energy. We were just talking about this transformation. Carefully, steadily, one foot in front of the other, walk towards the transformation. Carefully, steadily, one foot in front of the other, right? Examine all that is in your world again. Because I hear some of you saying, Lisa, I have been examining, re-examining, putting it on the table, flipping it over, all of this. How many times do I have to keep examining and re-examining? Evidently, there must be some things that are still residual there that need to be transmuted and translated into, right? Into positive energy. Into your foundation so that it can become fertilizer for what's happening in spring. Allow the rebirth to happen. Allow the death to happen, and do it carefully. I'm not saying doing it willy-nilly, so don't just go through there and slice everybody out of your life. I'm saying look at your current relationships, your past relationships. Look, do you still have soul ties to them? Are there still generational issues that are still affecting you right now? Are there issues, inner child issues, that are still affecting you right now? Are, what's going on? Just check it out. Are you not walking in the purpose that you need to because you have not released everything completely, or at least enough where you can be unbound? We always will have things to deal with because we're going to continue to be human until we decide to transition out of this 3D existence. But you have to be willing to transform it. You have to be willing to allow certain things to die so new things can live. Don't like hold on to it and gnaw at it. There's no more meat on that bone. For some of you, I hear very clearly, for some of y'all, there's no more meat on that bone. Will you just let it go? Three of Pentacles, the energy you're bringing a readiness to work, and you're bringing work on these things, and you're bringing a readiness to work in your purpose. I'm also hearing to do what you truly love, to do what's going to fulfill you. In December, you'll be taking some baby steps, making some movements towards doing that in a real and authentic way. Okay, not necessarily being so worried about everybody else, but you have to take care of you. And Nine of Wands, you'll begin to see the very things. There's some of you that have planted a seed a long time ago for your purpose, and you need to pay a little bit more close attention because it's actually beginning to sprout. So don't be in a rush. Let the seedlings sprout up above the surface, and then tend to them. Defend the position. Defend what's growing. Put your attention to what is growing, because what you put your attention to grows. What you put your intention towards grows. Why is the Strength card here? I feel like I'm already hearing some of you feel like you've been through so much and you don't know if you have the strength to continue. That you've been waiting for this Ten of Cups existence, and you've heard it like told you over and over and over again, and you just don't know if you can make it across the finish line to finish the cycle. And you've been waiting to hear messages from Spirit, and you feel like Spirit's gone silent. The reason why the Six of Cups is here is because I do hear Spirit and Creator saying, remember, I brought you through. Remember when I brought you through this. Remember when I brought you through that. Remember the last thing I told you to do. Go back to that. Remember, I've not left you. Remember, I'm here, but it's time for you to stand up because you already know what to do. This Five of Cups, you're not alone. Five of Pentacles, excuse me. This feeling of you're alone in this, and that you're the lone wolf, is not going to serve you. You're not the lone wolf. You might be on the outside because you are avant-garde and ahead of the curve, but you're not alone. And wearing your individuality, or your uniqueness, or your knowledge of, the global, what's right in the global world, out here as a badge of honor, is pushing everybody away. Like sometimes your steadfastness and this is it, it pushes people away. So you're making yourself be alone, but you're not. And people are wanting to come and work with you with this Three of Pentacles and help you. Yeah. Remember that you are trapped in your own mind. No one's trapping you. Unbound. Unbind yourself. Get up and walk, so that you can go on and celebrate. Remember that there have been good times. Remember what it felt like for you to get set free, and for you to enjoy the good times and celebrate them. Celebrate your successes and the successes of others, rather than always, oh, but that didn't work. Oh, but that didn't work. Oh, but that didn't work. Stop. Stop. No, it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. We are in an imperfect third dimensional realm. It's not going to be perfect. But you got to be willing to let some of this go and die and transform. And for some of you, that's going to be a little bit more difficult because you're so used to being this way. You're used to, some of you out here are used to being the villain. You're used to being perceived as the villain. And you've become so accustomed to that. Or you're used to being perceived as the one that just says how they think, and that's just it, and everybody has to accept it. No, we don't. There's some of this you need to change so that your message is heard. And we need your message to be heard. Some of you use that harsh delivery and matter-of-fact delivery as a defense mechanism, because you don't want anyone to see behind the curtain, because you're afraid someone's going to see or perceive that you don't know as much as you're purporting to know. And guess what? It's really okay for you not to know something. But in order for you to walk through this gateway and get this understanding and walk through this very powerful portal of awakening and ascension and exaltation and unleashing your inner strength and power, you are going to have to be willing to work with others. This is the second three. We got the Three of Pentacles, being commissioned to work with, right? To do what you want to do, and you wanting to do it. You being in that position to be able to do that. Partnerships. And the Three of Cups, celebration. This is what's going to help you find the strength. Partnership is going to help you find the strength to get through this. Why is this Hanged Man here? Hermit card. You guys have been in a holding pattern, in a study pattern, in a deep understanding pattern, kind of set off a little bit. But now it's time to take all that you've learned with that Ace of Wands and this renewed passion, new ideas, new understandings, right, are beginning, and go on and get through this Tower moment and allow whatever needs to be destroyed to be destroyed. Queen of Pentacles, so that you can begin to germinate, so you can begin to fertilize, so you can begin to give birth to, not quite birth, but incubate your overall purpose. It's time for this. There's going to be new ideas for income generation. I believe you're going to start seeing some of that from your purpose. If you haven't begun to walk in it yet, it's time to get there. Temperance. Yep, you're going to get the alchemic recipe in order to mix logic and spirit. King of Wands. And beyond a shadow of a doubt, stick to your guns. Stick to your passion. Stick to your life purpose. Aquarius, that's what I have for you for December of 2020. Listen, guys, this is a powerful month for you. This is a very, very powerful month for you. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. As always, if you're interested in working with me, you can reach out to me at admin@heartofinspiration.net, or just actually go to my website, heartofinspiration.net. The links are down below, and schedule some time with me. Also, if you are interested in stepping out further into your purpose, and you've begun to do so, but we need to continue to identify, clarify your purpose so that it can then be monetized and provide for you. I have started a masterclass. So it's called the Lightworker Masterclass. It's part of our Lightworker Academy. And if you want more information about that, go to this email address, info@lightworkeracademy.net, and we will set up a consultation to see if the masterclass is a fit for you. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you so much. Namaste. Bye.